Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation. Beautiful to be here. As always, I would like to invite us to put our left hand over our heart center and make several deeper breaths with a sounding exhale of ah. Just to awaken our nervous system, take a deep breath again. Keep it for a moment and let it go. Ah. And one more time, deep breath in and surrender. Feel yourself withdrawing to the center of your chest, to the place from where you spring out into this world. All your attention drops into the center, withdraws to itself. Slowly you can let your hand rest on your legs, interlacing fingers with the other hand, crossing your feet. Now with every exhale you realize your eyes close gently, completely. The muscles of your face relax. Your jaw relaxes so that there is a space between the teeth, the upper and lower teeth. Your lips are relaxed. You notice your neck and your throat relaxing. And as you exhale, your shoulders drop down. You notice that maybe you were holding, there was some little tension, but you release it all. Your arms, your back, your chest and your stomach. You can feel your sit bones and your legs relax, and your feet. You are aware of the chair below your body, and you are aware of the floor or the surface below your feet. You are aware of this voice or any other sounds surrounding you. You are aware of the breath gently flowing up and down your nose, entering your body and leaving your body, completely without your control. And you are aware of yourself being aware of all of this. Most importantly, you are aware that you are aware. It is obvious you are aware. It feels like some special miracle. Not only do you notice objects of your perception, objects of your observation, you know you are aware of them. So suddenly the attention withdraws to the subject of consciousness, the subject of this awareness, which is you. You start to realize that on top of all of these changing objects that pass through your perception, like the thoughts, the feelings, sensations in the body, colors and images, sounds and noises, tastes and flavors, smells and scents, experiences and pleasures. Beyond all of that changes and passes, you become interested in this that remains, unmovable, unchangeable. You suddenly realize it is supremely interesting. And you remember there is one more consistency. Since you remember yourself, and it will be until this body exists, it is the breath. Unmistakably there. So let all your attention rest with the fact that you are this unshakable, unstoppable, permanent presence that is aware of everything, together with the breath that enters the nose, goes up to the root of the nose and flows down. Allow the curiosity of the mind and the attention to completely rest with the permanence. Several more minutes, dear friends. Slowly, with every breath, we are becoming aware of the body. With the next inhale, you start scanning the body from your feet to the top of your head. And with the exhale, from the top of the head to the feet, becoming aware of every muscle and every bone. And with every exhale, allowing yourself to be relaxed with everything that is present. Still keeping your eyes closed, you slowly move your toes on your feet. You feel the sensation, how they react to your intention. You decide, and it happens. And now feeling your fingers, also with your attention, you move the fingers. And what you have taken for granted, you now realize the way that life works in general. You have the intention, and then somehow it happens. Fingers move. And slowly moving your hands and your arms, put the center of your palms over your eyes. With the fingers on your forehead, creating a gentle dark space for your eyes to rest. Being immersed in the energy of the heart, because your palms are the outer expression of your heart. Your intention is that your eyes see what your heart feels. And with deeper inhale, slowly open your eyes and remove your hands. And welcome to yet another day.
That was a wonderful meditation session. I hope everyone was able to feel the energies and connect more to your inner self. Meditation is truly a transformative practice to be part of, but to deepen and advance it, there are some essential things that we should follow. First is studying and reading books on meditation to build understanding and perspective. Second, of course, is the practice of meditation itself and service to others. And lastly, what we'll be focusing on today is swadhyaya, spending time in the company of like-minded individuals to share insights, reflect together, and grow through collective wisdom, especially by discussing the teachings of our gurus. So today we'll be talking to Mr. Ivan, an internationally recognized spiritual teacher, healer, and emotional therapist from Croatia, who has established his school's awareness and spiritual mastery in multiple different countries and languages. Additionally, Mr. Ivan has also used his own LO method, allow, let go, and hand over, which serves to release and heal emotional injuries, traumas, and blockages from the body and mind. Let's welcome Mr. Ivan to share his story and wisdom with us.
Wonderful to be here again.
So, Mr. Ivan, how did your journey toward learning from spiritual teachers and meditation begin?
I didn't expect to go that far. In all honesty, I do not remember when it began. I can speak of this life. And that was quite early. Naturally, from the teachings of Jesus Christ, um, because that is the culture I was raised in. And I always like to focus on the essence and what was meant to be said rather than the surface expressions. Surface is usually shallow and disturbed, just like the surface of the sea or the ocean can have waves, can have storms. It can be rough, but the depth is always calm. There are no waves in the depth. It is always the same. It is always still. So this is actually how I approached Jesus' teachings. Most people are focused on the outer expressions, and they would say, "Oh, you see, he got angry and he destroyed the tables of those merchants in the temple." They were money exchangers, actually, not merchants. So we should also fight the negativity and be like him. It's so easy to focus on one single act of someone without being them. And I tell people, well, first you do everything that Jesus did. First you go to Tibet and spend learning from the Buddhist monks. Then you come back and you meditate in the Giza pyramid. Then you spend 40 days meditating and fasting without food in a desert. And once you have all those realizations, and life is guiding you, then maybe you will also fight the money exchangers or the central bank or the government or some other organization, doesn't matter. Maybe you will not, who knows? But focus on the essence. And essence is very simple. When one of the disciples asked him, Master, there are hundreds and thousands of rules that the Bible is telling the Jewish people. The Old Testament is a mostly terrible book. I don't recommend reading it. With some very beautiful stories that you can encounter if you ignore the terribleness of the rest. Um, and just rules, 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 rules. And as Lao Tzu, the great Chinese master, once said, when there is no love, appears politeness. And when there is no politeness, appear rules. So the more rules there are, it is showing us how far we are going from love. Because when there is love, there is no need for politeness and there is no need for rules. Um, we can see the Old Testament is a rule-based book, which means very, very far from love. God is not loving in it. And the current society, the same. Our parliaments, our governments produce new rules and regulations and laws daily. Actually, they never make laws because laws can only be physical and they are immutable. So if it can be changed, it's not a law, it is just a rule. Um, so the fact that they are creating thousands and thousands of regulations, that is only showing how far we have went away from love. And love cannot be brought back by more rules. It is quite the opposite. So when a disciple asked Jesus of all those rules and then the Ten Commandments that God gave to Moses, what are we to follow? It's so overwhelming. And he said, ignore everything. and focus on two things. Love God more than you can love yourself. And love everyone else as much as you can love yourself. He says that's all of it. There is nothing more that you need to do. And truly, when you think about it, there is nothing more that you need to do. Everything else becomes completely irrelevant. Completely. If you love everyone like you love yourself, are you going to steal? So nobody needs to tell you you don't need to steal. Um, there is a beautiful comedian from Japan. She lives in the United States. She is married to an American. And she's married to a Christian. She's not a Christian. When she had lunch with her parents-in-law, the father-in-law asked her, he is like a devoted Christian. He said, "You don't read Bible." She said, "No, I don't." He said, "How do you then know not to steal and kill?" And she said, "In that moment, I realized that my father-in-law should never stop reading Bible. If he needs Bible to tell him not to kill and not to steal, we have a very big problem." So you see, when we are so separated from truth, when we are so separated from essence of life, from the naturality of life, we need those things to tell us not to do something that is so obvious you should not do when you are loving everyone as yourself and when you're loving God more than you can love yourself. So whatever you would do then would be an expression of love. And then nobody would be concerned why it happened. Everybody would know it was for love. Love made it happen. And sometimes there are accidents as well. And sometimes there are things that don't seem, let's say, just to a ego, to a mind, but they're completely explicable from the level of love. So that was my, let's say, beginning. I can continue, or if you have question now to interrupt me, please do. I'm very happy that you do.
I mean, like you mentioned yourself, you kind of came from like a Christian background. Those were the teachings you grew up with. So when you got more exposure to different understandings and spiritual
Mm.
pathways, how did that really like alter your mindset, right? It must have been a little bit different, felt a little bit foreign to you to see like such a new perspective on things.
Hmm. I mean, definitely there was not a change in perspective. There was a confirmation that this path truly is and that I'm not alone in it. So after meeting Jesus, then I met Satya Sai, my teacher, and he was just a confirmation of a love all, serve all. And he would always begin his speech by saying, Prema Svarupalara, embodiments of divine love, confirming what we truly are, nothing more than embodiments of divine love, nothing less. And um, it was not foreign. Foreign were outer expressions. Foreign were words or bhajans or mantras. Foreign were some rituals like arti. But he never asked the Westerners to do that. Actually, he has explicitly forbidden that arti and Hindu things are performed in his centers in Europe and the United States. Unfortunately, people can't get rid of it. So, in spite of clear instructions from the master not to do that in the West, if you go to most Satya Sai Baba centers in the United States or Europe, you will see people doing that. Um, and they just are so stuck with rituals. It sometimes angers me. And the reason why the mission and the message, which is so beautiful, did not reach enough people is because people get so attached to a form and to a way that they miss the essence. Just like Christians missed it, so did the Hindus, so did Sai Baba devotees. And is one of my things that when I go around, I keep reminding everyone of this. So no, the essence is never new. There is nothing new. You will see all the teachers on all the continents, no matter the culture, will always point out one and the same thing. There is only one and the same thing, which is loving. And then the way it is done, the way it is sang about, the way it is prayed for, uh, those things are different. But, in my language, uh, hvala is the way that we say thank you in English. So if you get attached and you say now everybody has to say hvala, it is ridiculous. Who cares which language you're using? It's the essence is important, is the gratitude, the feeling of gratitude. Well, people get attached to the language, to the way of saying it, instead of what it's meant to be said instead. Um, so this is what I'm getting from it.
So, I mean, like you said, the essence is like the one thing, right? So, there's probably one pathway to reach that goal, but multiple people have different understandings on how to get there, essentially, is what I'm understanding from what you're saying, right?
Well, um, let's say not necessarily even one pathway, one destination.
Hmm.
And because Christianity will sort of show you a different pathway, Islam will show you a different pathway, but they're not really so different. They're all paths, so it doesn't matter if it's a one-lane road or a six-lane highway. Who cares? It's important that it's going there. And but the destination and the origin, which is that the you have never left your origin, so the destination is this place that you never left. And it's just a perception of travel. There is a perception of seeking. You see, the way it happens is, imagine that when we are born as human beings, or when we manifest ourselves as these bodies, there is something that happens to us in one moment. There is a point of forgetfulness. So that point was created by us in order to have this experience. Otherwise, if we would all know that we are eternal, unchangeable, untouchable beings, this game of life on earth would end in a few hours or days. You can't play for 40 years a victim, not knowing that you are omnipotent. Okay? It just would not work. After one day, you would be like, okay, I'm done with this. I want another game. So, in order for this game to work, we had to forget who we are. So, there is this point of forgetfulness that triggers, and we completely forget who we are. Um, and then we think we should find our way back home. Okay? That's what happens to us. So we spend all these years finding our way home. The way I explain it is, imagine you come from work and you want to have some time on your own to rest. You live in a place that maybe is not uh, in that moment pleasant, and you put these virtual reality goggles with the headphones, and you transport yourself to some beautiful, like paradise island with the white sand beach, and you're on the lounge chair. You're just looking at the sea, at the horizon, And you get so absorbed there and you meditate, you completely forget that you are sitting in your home with a virtual reality. You are completely there on that island and you get hungry and you're thinking, oh, how did I get here? I don't have my wallet. I don't have my passport. I have no documents with me, nothing. And I'm hungry. Oh, then you realize you can't buy food and you're getting hungrier. Then you think, I should beg that somebody gives me some money to eat. So you become like this poor beggar. Or you think, I should employ myself in this restaurant on the beach and I will work for food. So you start to struggle there. And you're getting hungrier and you're struggling. You can't go home. You have no phone. You have no money. And in one moment, you feel a touch on your shoulder. And you turn, but you don't see anyone, but you feel a touch on your shoulder. And then you hear something, honey, dinner is ready. And in that moment, you remember, where am I? And then you remember you have the virtual reality glasses and you take them off and you're like, oh, I'm home. And I've always been home. And my partner just prepared dinner. So I was never away on an island. I was never there poor and needing to work anywhere. I was always home. So you see, that hand is the hand of the guru, is the hand of the teacher. It reminds you that you should remember that you're home and that dinner is served, that you have everything, warmth and love and kindness and care and embrace and all of it.
Very beautiful analogy. I mean, I think especially like in the modern generation, we're so encapsulated by devices. We're not living in the present moment. We're like swept away like in this rat race that we're trying to find the destination to, which we cannot. We're not trying to look
Mhm.
for different ways. And in your journey, I'm kind of curious. So, did you ever have a personal interaction or experience with Satya Sai Baba that left a lasting impression on you?
Oh, I mean, 11 years of those. I did not live in the ashram 11 years, but for 11 years I would spend at least 1 month a year there. Um, and I mean, all of it is a permanent impression. And I can remember many, of course. See, I asked just before we started, um, I always invite that he speaks. There is no person here to speak. The person who should have no right to speak. Only the spirit should speak in any moment. Just like my phone should never have the right to call anybody by on its own. Only I should have the right to use my phone to call someone. So the spirit is the user and the person is just the phone. So the person should never be allowed to speak from the mind, from the thoughts, but the spirit. And what came were a few things. One very, very important one on that how all is possible miraculously by the divine will. He taught us something about Sankalpa. Sankalpa is the power of divine intention. He said, when you make a Sankalpa, when you decide something, when it is your divine intention, it must happen because this universe responds to the divine. It responds to you as the user, as the spirit. And universe has no other way but to make sure it happens because soul, spirit cannot lie. So if a spirit makes a sankalpa, universe is there to manifest it, no matter how impossible it seems. In one moment, it was his 65th or 60th birthday. Now I forgot exactly. There were 1 million people in front of the stage. It was the biggest birthday celebration in his life. And he made a sankalpa in that moment or in the speech. He said, next year, for my next birthday, we are going to inaugurate a super specialty hospital here, which will be better than any clinic in the world, specialized in open heart surgeries, eye surgeries, and these very, very complicated things. If you have ever been to Puttaparthi, it is in the middle of nowhere. At that time, there was not even asphalt road leading to it from Bangalore. There were dirt roads leading through rivers and canals. It was a torture, 4-hour torture to reach there. So in a village like that, it is a science fiction to say you're going to have a super specialty hospital better than Mayo Clinic in the United States. Within a year of, in India, build something in a year, please. Build your house in a year, let me see it. Not a hospital. And a huge, huge, huge hospital that looks like a Vedic temple because it has to be vastu and all of it. And he goes from the stage with a huge applause. And at the bottom of the stage were all these people closest to him. One of them was Mr. Isaac Tigret. He was the owner of the Hard Rock Cafe. And that moment, the biggest restaurant chain in the world. He was a close friend and devotee of Satya Sai. And we know each other personally. He told us this story as well, how it went. And he told Isaac, this hospital I just mentioned, you're gonna pay for it. You're gonna build it. So you better get to work. Isaac, running restaurants, what does he know of hospitals or anything like that? He just says, yes, yes, Swami, because that's the only answer you're allowed to give. Never would you able to say no. It's impossible. You can only say yes. So after the celebrations finished, Isaac went to the airport to fly back to London, where he was living. And he was worried. He was starting to think, how am I going to do this? Swami told him, you will sell Hard Rock Cafe to pay for the hospital, the chain. So he did for $108 million. Exactly, the perfect number, everything has to align. And he did, he sold it. But Swami told him that it has to be sacred geometry, vastu, it has to match all the criteria for a sacred place, and it has to be super specialty and all of that. He sits in the plane in business class, where he used to be always, completely absorbed in thoughts, like worrying thoughts. And the gentleman sitting next to him says, you seemed like worried. And he said, yes, my master just gave me this huge task and I don't know what to do. What do I know about hospitals or sacred geometry or architecture? And I'm supposed to run the project and, make sure it happens. And the gentleman says, well, let me introduce. My name is Dr. Critchlow. I am he is the most uh, um, important or known figure in the sacred architecture, sacred geometry architecture in the world, appointed by Prince Charles then to run the Prince Charles School of Architecture or something like this in London. pretty much the only person in the world who could do this task, sitting next to him in the plane. And he said, I will take on this job. They agree. Okay. Few months pass, or I don't know, a month passed by. They go to Puttaparthi to see the site. And Satya Sai Baba said, well, the site, if it is the right site, there will be 3 eagles flying in circular above. Otherwise, it's not it. So they're going around and they find the site, and suddenly there are 3 eagles flying around. But it was very hilly, like and rocky, and for a hospital you need a flat plateau, which needs to be bulldozed, and it takes few months to do all of that on so many hundreds of acres of the property. So the guy, the architect said, well, it will take time for this to be flat. It has to be flattened. Sai Baba was with them. And Sai Baba did with his hand like this, and he said, flat like this. And they turned, and the whole plateau was flat in one instant. So this gentleman, the architect, in that moment realized who he is dealing with, where he has come, what this is. And he said, but sir, in Europe, it would take us at least 5 years to build a hospital like that. In Germany, with all the technology, everything, because it takes time to draw the architectural drawings. It takes time then to build it, and then to equip. You need to put all the equipment. And Satya Sai Baba said, no, no, no. For my birthday, we are gonna run 5 surgeries. Not only open the hospital and pretend. No, 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 no. There will be 5 surgeries, and Prime Minister is coming, and the President of India is coming. They're gonna open it. This guy said, I don't know who is this, but I'm sure this is not possible. Anyway, 5 months passed by. I saw photos. There is nothing on site. So there is 7 months left. 7 months left. They start to make the foundations. Photos 3 months before, there are just some walls. 1 month before, okay, the cupola of the main temple in the center is there. And 1 week before, they're still painting. The head of the medical college, who was then also the director of the hospital, was crying. And Swami stopped him in one moment and said, why are you crying? And he said, Swami, it's not going to be finished by your birthday. There is no way we can do the surgeries, because it takes a month to disinfect everything and to make aseptic conditions. You can't open heart of people and operate if there is dust. And Swami told him, who told people that there will be surgeries on my birthday here? Did you tell them? And the doctor said, no, no, you said. Yes, I said. So why are you worried? That is not your problem. I said this, so it's my problem. You just do your job. Don't worry about what is not your job. And that 7 days passed. The equipment that was coming from Germany, the Siemens, all the machines for doing the surgeries and all of that, got lost on the way from Mumbai in the trucks. They could not find it. The trucks got lost. They arrived like the day before. Just like everything that could go wrong was going wrong. Swami was completely relaxed and smiling as always. And on his birthday, Prime Minister, President, hospital was open, 5 successful open heart surgeries. And to date, that hospital has less post-operative infections than the next best clinic in the world. In India, with this climate, and it is completely free. Anybody can go and have a surgery or any treatment. And The best doctors from around the world go there to volunteer when they have holidays. So instead of going to some island to rest, they go there to perform surgeries for free. This story showed me, or this experience showed me, that when you surrender, when you trust, when you are so aligned, when love is guiding, because at the beginning they asked Swami, who's gonna pay for this in this poor village? Who's gonna? And Swami said, love is going to pay for it, because love is the currency of the divine. So love of people, love of a single man, love of Isaac Tigret is enough. Love of one person is enough to pay for it. Because Isaac did it for his love towards the master, towards life, towards the teaching, not because he was forced or manipulated to. And he still continued to live there years and years later and being the closest. So when we develop this love, love finds a way to do everything. This is one important thing. Another is again related to truly observing what is your duty, not being on the surface. And in that, it happened in 2007. We had an international youth conference, 5,000 youth from 180 countries. I was in the organizing committee. It was a 7-day conference or something like this. And one day, as part of the conference, we had the basketball game between India and Sri Lanka, national teams, playing a friendly game in the Olympic Center in Puttaparthi. They also built an Olympic Center, so in the middle of nowhere. Um, and um, and that was part of our duties. Like as conference participants, we were told that at 3 p.m. we are going there. At the end of the morning program, just before we are gonna leave, Swami said in the speech in the temple, today at 3 p.m. here in the temple, I'm going to give the biggest teaching on love I have ever given. And he left. You know, when he says those words, you don't want to miss the biggest teaching on love ever spoken. Many people started doubting. They're like, but we should come here. And I and other organizers kept saying, no, we have our duties. We are told we have to attend the game. Those people came for us, national team of Sri Lanka and India coming to play. No, we know where we need to be. There is no question about it. Thank God, majority of people listened. Some few hundreds decided that they will go to the temple to hear the biggest teaching on love. Swami never went to the temple that day. He came to the basketball game to watch the basketball. And he has given the biggest teaching on love by doing that. Those who were in the temple realized they got the teaching very clearly. But unfortunately, they couldn't enter the game because the doors closed by the time they could. And also in that game, we were waiting for Swami to arrive. And when he arrived, because it was that setting of a athletic hall or a sports hall, I don't know what got into the people. When Swami arrived, they started like doing like Swami, 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 like they're on a stadium, like greeting some superstar. He looked for a moment in complete shock. And then he turned and walked out. In that moment, pure silence came, and then there were organizers running to get him, and then you could see behind the door negotiations that they're begging him to come back, and that he is saying, what kind of what kind of ambience is that? What the hell is happening? Like, why are we doing this? There is no need to build up that energy for a teacher or for anyone in particular. We don't need to boost ego. We are not doing like, wah, 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 like, no. Yeah, go into silence. And every day with him was a teaching. There is nothing he has done that you would not learn if you look. I have many more if you want, but I'm happy that I stop and you ask something specific.
I mean, how did you know that Satya Sai Baba was your guru? How did you know that? How did you identify that this is the person who's going to teach me how to love, how to feel these emotions, or understand these teachings?
You just know. I I saw him on TV when I was 7 years old. On our national TV, there was a documentary about strange, unexplicable phenomena around the world. It was a show about that. Every week they would have episodes about some unexplicable things. And one of those was about him, how for uh, like half an hour he can have vibhuti flowing out of his palm, like in kilos of vibhuti, or how he can materialize jewelry, or how he can make himself physically present in different locations at the same time. And people look at the clock and they speak to him, and they are in different parts of the world at the same moment. So this TV crew was doing a documentary about him. I was 7. That was 1985 or something like this. A long time ago. And um, and as a child, at that time especially, India was on another planet, like unreachable. You don't even think you can ever go there. Um, I just felt like, oh my God, this is amazing. Imagine, this is what I told myself. Imagine being able to experience this in person. How crazy would that be? Years go by, like 15 years go by. And I end up living with a person at my university. He would listen to bhajans, which I didn't know what they are. We don't have bhajans. And it was Satya Sai Baba singing, but with a very strange voice. I thought it was some old grandmother. And and I asked him, who is this grandmother? We say Baba in our language for grandmother. He said, no, it's not some Baba, it's Satya Sai Baba, and it's a man. Um, and he said, oh, there is a center, so you can come with me. So I did go to the Satya Sai Center in the city where I lived in Croatia. Croatia is a very big Satya Sai base, 22 centers in that moment. It was the biggest in Europe, or second biggest in Europe. Um, and there I encountered, bhajans and vibhuti, and it was all very strange. I didn't remember him immediately from the photo. I was just scared for my life because everything looked like some sect. They're gonna eat me for dinner. Um, but at the end, I was like, when they were giving vibhuti to everyone, I asked, what is this powder? And they said, that's what he makes from his palm. And then I got memory. I'm like, oh, is that a guy from TV? He can materialize. And they said, yes. And I said, I always wanted to meet him. This is incredible. So 1 year later, I actually went to Puttaparthi to meet him. And the moment I saw him enter the temple, I started crying. I I felt like I'm seeing my best friend after 100 years. I was so in tears from joy, I could not stop weeping. I was so missing him. I only then realized how much I missed, how much we were close. And actually, then I allowed myself that we become close again. So there was no rational decision. It's not like I read something and, I thought, oh, yeah, he's somebody special. I want to be related. No, this is just heart to heart.
That was amazing. I feel like you've experienced so many miracles that, I mean, I was born in 2004, much after the 1980s, but you're just talking about so many miracles that just don't seem possible. Even for me, like,
Uh,
even though, like, I've heard about all of this, it just sounds so special to be part of it and, like, hear and see it physically at that moment. And I'll now like to actually open the floor up to anybody in the audience if anyone has to ask Mr. Don about his experiences. I'm actually also kind of curious. I mean, you also met Brahmarshi Patriji, a little bit, Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji a little bit later. And how has he influenced you? Because you've already seemed to be on this journey for a while. And how did like meeting him also change your life as well?
you see, there is only one guru, no matter the body. You're always speaking to the one and only one. And when you know that, you do not have attachment. Yes, there is, let's say, I'm more close to my physical mother than to some other people on the planet, just by nature of it. So in the same way, my closeness with Satya Sai holds, let's say, a motherly or fatherly position. But that does not mean that I think that the divine or the supreme consciousness only acts and speaks through that form. On the contrary, I know that every master is the same one speaking to me. And um, Satya Sai and Patriji are a tandem, they work in unison. So there was a perfection of timing. When Satya Sai passed away from this body in 2011, immediately Patriji showed up. In a perfect moment, you cannot say that it was a coincidence because I never knew of him, I never saw him, I had no clue of his name. I only knew that there is a pyramid in Bangalore. And as I was invited to give a speech in the opening of Satya Sai Mahasamadhi for the Guru Purnima of 2011, I decided to come a few days earlier to India to see something because while he was in the body, I never saw anything. I would go from the airport to ashram and from the ashram to the airport. That was my India. So I thought, okay, now that Swami doesn't have so many duties for me, let me take like 4 days extra before I go to Puttaparthi to actually see something. So I went to Mysore. I wanted to see that palace and the national park with elephants that is on the way from Mysore to Kerala. Um, and then when I saw those, I remember that in one moment I saw a brochure about pyramid next to Bangalore. Later I discovered that that brochure was left in Puttaparthi in the cafe by Dr. GK, that everybody knows from the spiritual tablets. I only met him this year. So we could say that Dr. GK leaving the brochures in Puttaparthi in a restaurant uh, made me see it and then meet Patriji uh, sometime later. So actually, on my way from Mysore, I said, okay, let me see where is that pyramid. And I realized that it's on the way from Mysore to Bangalore. So we decided to stop. I was with a friend. And that day when we were there, Patriji was there. And they told us he only comes for 1 or 2 days, once a month, or once in 2 months, depending on his travels. So you see the way that life assures that exactly when you're there, you both meet. And the meeting was like a continuation. There was not much introduction. Ayappa Pindi was instrumental. He met me and my friend walking in the Pyramid Valley property, and we asked about the master. He said, yes, he happens to be here today. Would you like to meet him? We said, of course, we would like to meet him. And it happened in front of the pyramid with hundreds of other people. Patriji spent an hour giving a private talk to two of us, and actually calling us Swamijis from Croatia. I never heard anybody call Swami or Swamiji anyone but Satya Sai. So I could not understand what this guy is saying. Who is he referring to? Then we realized he's referring to us. And I thought, why is he calling us Swamiji? This is so strange. And he kept saying, masters, masters. And that day was actually the day when that changed the course of my life. It was a second, let's say, node or second crossroads that I needed because Satya Sai Baba's departure left, let's say, a void. Not a void that I felt he is gone, but physical presence is always nice. What to say? And then you can't, your mind cannot trick you. Uh, the master can trick you, and master will trick you if he can. That's his job. Like Satya Sai Baba tricked people from going to the temple instead of the basketball game. They will trick you if they can, because they want you to become a master, not some stupid follower. So Osho said, if a master can trick you, he should. You deserve to be tricked. And Patriji whispered into my ear that evening after asking me to guide a meditation in the pyramid. I was never asked to guide a meditation by a master in a environment with hundreds of people. Only Satya Sai asked me to give a speech in front of 30,000 people. So that was, let's say, when I lived through that, everything else became easy. That's why I can speak now forever if you don't stop me. And Patriji whispered into my ear, Ivan, it is time for you to accept that enlightenment is not something that happens in the future. Enlightenment is now. And as he said those words, that was the shift. It's like something in you activates or deactivates. You're no longer the same. My body became, in a way, miraculous or unexplicable in the things that it could do, in the things that would happen with the people. And it made me, when I came home, I resigned from my jobs and corporate duties and established our center of consciousness that still runs after 16 years, now in 4 countries. So that is the impact, actually, with Patriji's nudge and guidance and friendship. Actually, it is his love. It's always love. Everything now that you see is the love of my parents, is the love of my grandparents, is the love of my whole family, of my partners through life, and is the love of Satya Sai and Patriji, who treated me as their own. And especially Patriji spending so much time in private, in closeness, in care, in jokes, and in strictness. Because when he would get angry, you would not want to be around, if you have ever had that experience. Actually, when neither of them would get angry, you would not want to be around. Satya Sai Baba could be very, very dangerous in angry space.
I mean, it's definitely important to understand that, like you said, enlightenment is not a destination that you have to reach. It's something you can awaken now if you choose to, because I think that's the whole point, right? That's what Patriji says. He's like, find the master within yourself. Your guru is inside of you. You just have to find it. And like you said, that's why masters trick you. They want you to become someone great from within. They just don't want you to be a follower. And that is such an important teaching, because our
Mm.
conversation today is about gurus, and it's also about, finding your inner, I guess, your inner destination, the inner peace and the inner guru that you should be able to find instead of looking in an external perspective.
And
And there's also,
guru is not waiting for you to be perfect. In no moment. Can't care less. Satya Sai never looked for perfection in anybody. First of all, everybody is perfect, so what is there to look for? It is there. Secondly, they're fully aware where you're born, on what kind of a planet, on what kind of constrictions and limitations, and what you went through. And all of them did. When people think, oh, look how Satya Sai is so evolved, so, flying around in light and always gentle, always blessing everyone, full of love. Uh, you don't think that when he was a child, he went through terror. Like they would pour acid into his eyes to get the devil out because they thought he was possessed. They tortured him through these witches and I don't know, people who tried to relieve him of a demonic force, only to realize that there is no demonic force, there is an avatar energy there. So they went through torture, they went through humiliation. You would never think they went through that because it is not important. You know that it serves to nurture something, to mature something in you, and you overcome it. But most people get stuck. When I was a child, who cares? If Satya Sai came and he told you, when I was a child, they tortured me for days and days, he would never become who he was. He would never express it. Who would follow some whining person? Nobody. So let go, overcome that. And they are not looking for you to be perfect. There was a moment we were in the temple. It was birthday celebrations. There was always some celebration: birthday, Christmas, Shivaratri, Guru Purnima, Buddha Purnima. And for the birthday, they were preparing Ramayana play, the students of the university. There is also university there. So, uh, dozens of students preparing to play Ramayana. And the only thing you were ever allowed to answer is yes. So Swami would always go around and ask people, are you ready? You had to say, yes, we are ready. I'm ready. So he would visit these students in the temple when it was the time every day, ask them about how is the theater play going. And they were like, you could say, weeks away from being ready with the stage, with the costumes, with the preparations. But they would say, we are ready. And he would say, okay, very good. I'm glad you're ready. You're performing in 9 days. They said, yes, Swami, yes, Swami. Next day, he again comes. He says, "Are you ready?" He says, "Yes, Swami, we are ready." Okay, okay. What I said, yes, next week you're performing next week. They said, "Yes, Swami, next week." Third day, he comes, "Are you ready?" He says, "Yes, Swami, we are ready." "Very good. You're performing tomorrow." And they said, "Yes, Swami," with a smile. Then you could see them turning to each other in horror. Tomorrow? We are like 6 days away from being ready, but they had to be ready. What happens? All night long, not only the students who are participating in the play, but the entire university, all the boys from the college who sleep in the same dormitories, in the hostel, did not sleep all night, hundreds of them, because they knew, even though not all of us are in the theater play, it is us. So one group of us cannot not be ready. It will reflect on all of us. We are all one. So nobody slept. They were all night long preparing costumes and the stage and everything. Tomorrow, they were uh, performing in the temple. While the first act was happening, behind the stage, they were still preparing the stage for the second act and the costumes because there was no time. So they were improvising on the spot. And this is what the master wants you. Master wants you to abandon reaching perfection, preparing yourself endlessly. He wants you to know that you have to depend on the inner power, that you're capable of performing immediately the next day, and that you will have to improvise because improvisation is the joy of life. You take whatever you have and you do it. And I don't choose means when it comes to that, literally. Because one moment I was chairman of a basketball club in Croatia, a university basketball club. We were playing in the league of the city, of the county region. And as a club, you have to bring these things to the game for the referees to be able to have, like a red flag and with a stand and I don't know, some other things I forgot now. We did not have in one game. They said, if next game you don't bring that, you cannot play. We were an amateur club. Next game comes, it was on a Sunday. On Sunday in Europe, nothing works. Sunday, everything is closed, no shops, nothing. It's a day to rest and to have games. I wake up with a friend on a Sunday morning. I have 2 hours till the game. And I remember, oh, the flags. I don't have red flags. They're gonna kick us out. This time they said, next time you're not playing. What do I do? I go around and I say, okay, Ivan, meditate. Solution is here. God will guide you. Swami will guide you. And I remember I have some Chinese sticks for eating from yesterday. Okay, this will be the stand for the flag. Now I need the flag. And then I see on my wall Croatian national flag, which it is illegal by the constitution to damage it. I mean, if you did it publicly, they would fine you or put you in prison for a day. So I take the national Croatian flag, which has red, white, and blue. And I say, okay, I'm gonna do illegal, but what to do? I will cut the red parts of our national flag because I need the red for the basketball. And I did it. We sewed it to the Chinese eating stick, and we had the little flag for the referee. We were very happy. We come there to the game, improvising everything. And he looks and he's like, very good. Where is your stand? We completely forgot the stand with the drama of making the flag. But you see, I I don't bother reaching perfection in advance. I start the path and it will become perfect on the way, always. This is everything I have learned from my gurus.
That was a very beautiful story. I mean, I don't know if you're allowed to tell us about the flag story. I don't know if there's consequences of that now,
No,
but
don't worry. That was 20 something years ago, 25, 27, 27, 28 years ago. So, yeah.
And we also have some questions in the chat. And someone was asking us, Sir, do you prefer using neuromedication devices like biofeedback, things like that, or like EEG?
Ah. I can't say I prefer. I have tested, I have done, but I can't be bothered. That's, that's, that's my experience.
I mean, I think,
Everyone should follow their intuition, but never be dependent on anything. Because Buddha did not have any of those devices, and he actually bothered to sit and go through the torture because you can't avoid hell. I'm so sorry. There is a moment of psyche that has to be purified, no matter what kind of past you have. You see, all the great ones will confirm. Buddha did, Christ had the same. In the Bible is written. When he went to meditate for 40 days in the desert, he met the devil. Buddha met demons. The same thing. They were not entities from another universe. They were qualities of the mind that got to the wrong extreme. The disturbances of the mind, of the psyche. Actually, it was the psyche. When you meditate, the psyche will get disturbed. What is in the mud. When I went for 40-day fasting and meditation, because just as I told you, rather than dwelling on superficial things from a master's life, you should do what he did. So I went and meditated. I said, if Christ did it and he thought it was necessary, imagine 2000 years ago and Buddha 2500 years ago, no mobile phones, no TV, no frequencies around the planet, no satellites to disturb you, no 8 billion people to chat and produce noise with their minds, no cars, no airplanes, no nuclear bombs, no radiation, nothing, pure planet. They felt that they have to withdraw 40 days into silence away from everyone. What should we do? We should probably then fly to the moon to have that experience. So if they had the necessity, when there were none of these pollution, none of these disturbances that we have today, they had the necessity to withdraw. How much do we need it today? So I said, if he needed it 2000 years ago, I certainly need it today. And I did. I said, life, I need a mountain hut, like a hobbit in the ground, just to have water and a bed and a stove to heat where I can withdraw for 40 days. And it appeared exactly. A student of mine sent me an email saying, would you like to take this home for your retreat in the mountains? I was surrounded with 2 meters of snow. Nobody could reach me for 40 days alone, meditating. You go through hell. The psyche has its process. And most people are not comfortable with it. They don't want it. They are like, oh, I become agitated, I become angry. You don't become angry. There is anger there hidden. It should come out. Hatred should come out. You should have thoughts of killing everybody. If you have them, let them come out. I acknowledge the presence of that mud, and that's why it is not controlling me. It's not that there is no mud in the psyche of Ivan. There is awareness about it. You see? You will never hear me say, I would never do this. No, I am very much capable of doing it. It's just that I'm choosing not to, because I know it does not serve anyone, and it's against what I stand for. So it's not that I can't, I won't. That's the difference. Oh, I would never be able to hurt another human being. Oh, I would be able to hurt another human being. I know precisely how I would hurt them. I have those thoughts, how I would hurt them, and what terrible things I think should happen to them. I don't act on that. That's psyche. Let it flow out. And when you are aware that it is there and that you're not going to act on it, and it's funny, it's ridiculous, you're not afraid of it, it does not control you, you are a good human being, because your awareness heals everything. So when you meditate, all that terribleness that can come out, beautiful, let it come out. Jesus allowed it to come out, Buddha allowed it to come out, and look who they became. So you allow it to come out and surrender it to the source, choosing, because both of them, Buddha and Christ, said the same. And Christ, in his words, he said, when the devil offered him, stay with me, like psyche, ego, stay with me, I will give you the richness of this world, you will be the best. He said, I will always choose my Father instead of you. My Father being the Spirit, being the goodness, being love. I will always choose this. So it's a matter of choice. And then the devil lost any power over Jesus, because the psyche lost any control over him, because his choice was clear. I'm choosing my Heavenly Father. I'm choosing the consciousness, the Spirit, not you. So every master actually makes a choice. That's what makes you a master. Not that you are free from faults, free from something. You're not free from anything. You become free with your choice.
That's very important, that we learn not to really act upon our thoughts. Like they say, you should think before you speak or say anything. It's very important, as masters, like you said, we have to let that psyche flow out. We have to let that anger, those
And
emotions,
don't
those
feel guilty. There is nothing wrong with you. My dears, you are perfectly okay. You have negative thoughts. You're perfectly okay. You're very, very healthy. You're a good human being. Just don't start feeling you own them. They're not yours. They're just radio waves passing through the atmosphere. You don't need to tune to them. You tune to the other frequency, to what you choose. All the thoughts are present because there is 8 billion people thinking. Conflict, war, hatred, possessiveness, jealousy, all of those thoughts are present. You are picking them up because your brain is like a receiver. You don't need to own them. You don't need to feel guilty for having them. It's just, imagine that I feel guilty for having a pen. It is just a thing. Drop it. So it doesn't matter that it's on the table. It does not define you. So none of those thoughts define you. None of those emotions define you. Only they define you if you identify with them, if you attach with them, if you believe you are them, if you start to feel that you own them, that you are responsible for them. You are not. You are responsible for the choice that you will make. That you say, I see you, okay, you can be. I didn't invite you. I never invite negativity. It just comes by itself. Great, you have come. You can be. I know what is my choice. I know what I'm going to focus on, and it's not you. And it will die. It will pass away if you don't feed it. It simply dies, like on any plant. Don't put water, it will die.
It's very important that we don't tap into those lower frequencies. And this is going to be the last question of this session, considering we're kind of running a little bit over time, but maybe you can keep it brief as possible. We had a person asking Swami Soha meditation and Jyoti meditation and Patriji's Ana-Pana-Sati meditation. How was the transition in the meditation technique?
Sairam, there is no difference. Satya Sai taught us Anapanasati. He planted the meditation tree above the mandir in Puttaparthi with the 9 stone plaques buried with sacred mantras so that the tree roots absorb it. And under that tree, there is a photo of Satya Sai sitting in the same posture like Patriji, clasped fingers, not very straight, just like this, closed eyes, crossed legs. And there it says, observe the breath in your nose. This was the basic meditation that also Satya Sai taught. Then he realized people are not doing it, and their mind is overactive, and they're only thinking. So he said, let me employ their minds. Let me employ their minds with the Jyoti meditation. And he said, okay, now take a candle. There is a candle light. Look at it. Look at in the center of the flame. Then in some moment, close your eyes and you will see the flame with your third eye, and it will come and enter here. And then allow it to brighten your brain and your eyesight and all. It's a guided process coming to your heart and then spreading to the world. It's a guided meditation. It's a process to bring light to the world, to change frequency. It is not either or. It's like sometimes I drink water and sometimes I drink orange juice. And sometimes I eat rice. So I will drink water and eat rice. It's not that one excludes the other. Anapanasati is the basic that any master will teach you generally. Sometimes, because they see and they know their devotees, they will give some help or some additional thing, not to replace the other one, but to occasionally do it to calm something or to change something. That's all.
I know I said this was one of the last questions, but it seems like Devi has also raised her hand if you want
It's
to unmute
okay.
yourself.
Please, I am available. I'm in no rush. It's a Sunday. Well, every day for me is the same almost, so it doesn't matter.
Oh,
No, thank you, Ivan. Thank you for reiterating Swami's teachings and stuff. I'm not going to ask a question, but I'm also going to reiterate the same things. But though we never used the meditation terminology or anything, even if you unconditionally do something, instantly Swami's love pours on you. You cannot even imagine how much love he pours on you. Even a smallest positive thought about others without any conditions on you, do it, you immediately see the result right away. That much omnipresent he is, that much omnipotent and omniscient he is. And he is, and he were, and he will be. So thank you so much, Ivan. That's so nice presentation today. I mean, sharing today we had. And also, we never had any the meditation terminology I mentioned, right? Even if you do the rituals without knowing so much, without even knowing the details so much about it, but still, if you do it for your love, he responds. It doesn't matter the form, what form you're praying to, or what. For example, my mother, my parents, my father was the only son with 6 sisters. But my grandfather, when my parents got married, he wanted to have a grandson. So my mother was so, those days, the father-in-law is like, they give so much importance, they respect so much, right? The in-laws, they respect so much. So since he wanted the son to have a son again, so my mom used to pray to the each and every stone coming on her way, thinking that it is God. Doesn't have a form or anything, thinking that it is God. So after they have 5 daughters, they end up going to Puttaparthi for one of her brother's daughter got married to one of her sisters. And in our culture, cousins get married, but brother and sister's children get married. So that wedding was performed by Swami in Puttaparthi. So for that wedding, my parents went. That time we were only 1 year old or something. So they announced in the microphone that Swami wants to talk to them. So Swami went, then my parents went. As soon as they go, he asked, "What do you want?" First thing he asked. Because the prayers, what she did to each and every stone she came across, that reached him, because he is omnipresent in every thought, word, and deed you do. So that is why he knew what she was praying for, what she was craving for. So Swami gave them, blessed them. Oh, I gave it to you. Within 9 months, they got the son. That's why they named him after his name. So that's that much. So it doesn't matter now we are doing the meditations or Patriji guiding, Mahatar Babaji guiding. In every form, Swami is the only form for me too. Thank you. I couldn't stop talking about it. Sorry, we can't stop if we start. Sorry.
Mm. The formless one is the only one who speaks through all of them. That's why it knows. It's the formless one who hears everything and then will choose what is the best for you to get the message. Yes. Which of his vehicles is the most appropriate one to reach you? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ivan, for your time. I learned a lot today. And, I actually had the pleasure of seeing you at the Mega Meditation Summit, I believe, in LA, California. And it was really inspiring. My dad got to meet you as well, and just hearing about your journey, your stories, is very inspiring because, the ability like to essentially quit your corporate job, like leave behind a life that you thought you built and was going to hold you and support you. You left all that behind and you went on a journey to, I guess, find yourself. And I think that's amazing. I don't think we all have the opportunity to do that. But again, thank you so much for your time and sharing your wisdom with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.